So the question is this, that why acute myeloid leukemia is defined by more than or equal to 20% blast usually in the bone marrow and or peripheral blood. To understand this, you need to understand a basic concept, and if only one concept that you need to know about acute leukemia in general, that is this, which defines acute leukemia, is the loss of differentiation capacity of the cancer cells. Now this sounds very confusing, what is meant by the blockage of differentiation or loss of differentiation. What I'm going to do in this session, I'm going to simplify that concept. So let's say that what is the unique about acute leukemia, like acute myeloid leukemia, that there are two kind of mutations occur, two series of mutations occur. One kind of mutations basically give the cancer cells the ability to multiply, to proliferate. So from one, many of them they can develop. But another thing which happens, which is very exclusive and unique for acute leukemia, that these cancer cells which are multiplying and proliferating, they cannot mature further. They remain at that immature stage. Remain trapped in that immature stage. They cannot mature, they lose their differentiation capacity. I've given an example to simplify this. So you know that how a neutrophil develops normally. They start their life as a myeloblast, then promyelocyte, then myelocyte, then metamyelocyte, then band form, and then mature neutrophil. You can think like a normal human life cycle actually, that it usually start as newborn. I also think in this way, I also explained it this way, that is a newborn, then there is a toddler, then there is preschool going kid, then there is a school going kid, then there is adolescent, like which is a band form, then becomes mature adult, which is a mature neutrophil. Now what is happening in acute leukemia, that usually those blast cells, they are multiplying, but the blast cells are remaining trapped in that blast stage. They cannot mature further down the line. For example, in acute myeloid leukemia, myeloblasts remain trapped in that myeloblast stage. They cannot become myelocyte, metamyelocyte, band form, mature neutrophil. But those blast cells, this myeloblast cells, myeloblast or lymphoblast in case of ALL, they will be multiplying in the bone marrow. So acute leukemia, the characteristic feature is this, that the cancer cells are multiplying, but the cancer cells, those immature cells, they cannot mature actually. They cannot mature further down the line. So what is happening in myeloblast, that we see a lot of myeloblasts, they are those immature form myeloblasts, those cancerous myeloblasts, they are multiplying in the bone marrow. But those myeloblasts cannot become mature neutrophil. So that's why the only cell whose level is rising, that is the myeloblast. And that's why we get a higher percentage of myeloblast in cases of acute myeloid leukemia. I also, when I explain this, I also explain through an example of tale of two cities. Like you can think that in acute myeloid leukemia, what happens, that acute myeloid leukemia, the blast cells, they are multiplying, but the blast cells cannot mature further down the line. It's like a city where a lot of newborns are taking birth, but those newborns cannot mature. They cannot become school going kid, they cannot become adolescent, they cannot become toddler. So what you'll be seeing after a while, that the entire city is filled with only the newborns. So that is unique about the acute leukemia, including the acute myeloid leukemia. That this is a cancer, acute leukemia is a cancer where the cancerous cells, they are multiplying, they are proliferating. Those immature cells in the bone marrow, these hematopoietic precursor cells, they are proliferating, but they cannot mature further down the line. And that's why the cells, those immature blast cells, their percentage gradually rises. And that explains why in acute myeloid leukemia, why usually you get more than or equal to 20% blast cells, because only the blast cells are multiplying there, and the blast cells are stuck at that blast stage. They cannot mature further down the line. That is the basic idea. This is the unique feature of the acute leukemia, including acute myeloid leukemia. That acute myeloid leukemia is a cancer where the cells has the capacity to multiply, to proliferate. Same time, the unique feature is this, that those cells lose the capacity by a different set of genetic changes. They lose the capacity to differentiate or mature further down the line. And that's why acute myeloid leukemia, or acute leukemia as such, is characterized by higher percentage of the blast cells in the bone marrow and obviously in the peripheral blood. That is the basic idea. So remember only one thing, one concept of acute leukemia, including acute myeloid leukemia, that there is a maturation arrest of those immature cells in the bone marrow occur. They get blocked. That is the basic idea. And that also explains why in acute myeloid leukemia we get more than or equal to 20% blast cells. Thank you. I'll continue this series in the further sessions.